Hello everyone, my name is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor, and welcome to my channel. Today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 14, No Hug for You. Here at this channel, we dip a little bit into our curiosity. We don't come a place from assumptions or judgments, but we try to get a little curious to learn about couples, to learn even a little bit about ourselves. And we do a quick therapeutic review here. If you are returning back to this channel, welcome back. Be sure to like the video and of course subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into it. First, we have Stacia and Nate. This couple really dipped into their physical intimacy and they are exploring and encouraging other couples to explore. They seem to feel really comfortable in their relationship as they're even, there's parts of them that are even making commentary on other relationships that are, or couples that are in the cast. And at the same time, as they're exploring their physical intimacy, there is a part of me that's like, I wonder how Stacia's feeling about this, where she is allowing herself to relinquish control and feel more free and comfortable with him. And the way that that seems to translate in their relationship is in the physical intimacy department. Because there are many other ways that she could relinquish control. She could let him have the flow of the day, make him take the lead on dates and things of that nature, and even planning for their future. But it seems to be the way that she relinquished control in this relationship, or feels free to do so, is in the area of physical intimacy. There's a part of me that is concerned about if she's going to feel unsafe. If she's going to feel unsafe, allowing herself to be free in this way without getting the reassurance that she needs by hearing this L word, right? By hearing it, there's some security there. There's some belief she has attached to that word that she needs to hear it in order to know, okay, love for me. When I say I love a person, for me, that means I'm committed. That means I'm staying. And with Nate, she's hoping to hear that word from him because she believes that's what that will mean for him. We don't know. We don't know what that means to Nate. What we do know is that Nate is present. Nate is trying. Nate is exploring and taking his reins in full speed with the physical intimacy department. He is definitely the captain now in that situation. And at the same time, I'm curious about if there are other ways that she can feel more comfortable with him taking the lead without her feeling like she is not going to be safe. Like she will be compromising a part of her security in this relationship. Other than that, this couple seems to be very smooth sailing. We learned that Nate is the best dancer. We learned that Stacia is just the best overall person. They did say on the after party that she won some business awards and things of that nature. And of course, we know that Stacia is pretty much, she's a businesswoman, a mogul. So we shall see as this gets closer to decision day, because Stacia is going to feel the pressure. She's going to need to hear that L word and feel that security from Nate before decision day. This demanding part is there. It's ever present. So we shall see next episode. Next, we have Alexis and Justin. It was interesting, this episode. This couple, they seem to be in a great place, right? They're at the couple's retreat, and they do disclose that they have consummated their marriage. Alexis stated that she's noticed that Justin just feels more calm. He feels more secure in himself. And Alexis, what I do notice is there's this part of her that tends to like to put things out in the open, maybe likes to embarrass people. I don't know. As she has done it right at the wedding, she did at the wedding, stating that Justin was celibate, out loud to her friends. She does this a lot, stating to out loud about Mitch and his preference for Krysten. Like, she likes to do these things out loud. And I wonder what that does for her. I'm just, what does that do for her? Even in the moments where they're getting ready for the prom, and Justin's like, he's having a hard time buckling her shoe. And he stated, have you done this before for a woman? Because even last night you had a problem taking off my bra. And that's something that's like sensitive information. Some things are just between you and your spouse. And I'm curious for Alexis if everything is just out in the open, if things aren't, some information is to protect the intimacy of your relationship. And Alexis doesn't have that. She doesn't protect or honor the relationship in that way. I'm going to give her the grace that it's not purposeful, right? And at the same time, she is, right? She got the award for most likely to gossip. And the reason why she did is because a lot of people do come to her, right? A lot of people come to her with their issues and concerns. And so she's seen by the girls as someone who has a lot of wisdom. And at the same time, when it comes to executing it in her relationship, it doesn't seem present ever so, at least on camera, when the cameras are rolling. There are times where it feels like she is using maybe that knowledge. There's a part of her that is leaning towards her intellect in order to navigate things in a savvy way instead of being present, right? There's still not a vulnerable Alexis present in this relationship. And we know that Alexis, right, honestly, truly doesn't want to be in this relationship. So it's really interesting to me that she has decided to consummate this marriage with Justin. Justin is still hesitant, right? So there's a part of her that was frustrated because he said, I still have this fear that you're going to leave. Just because we consummated the marriage doesn't mean that I still don't have this fear that you're going to leave. And Justin has every reason to listen to that part of him, that intuition, that part that has his guards up, because she has ever so many ways directly and indirectly communicated that this isn't her cup of tea, that this isn't what she wants. She stated in the kitchen with the girls as they were cooking and preparing for dinner, and she stated the first time around that the physical intimacy was a bit awkward and they're learning their way. In her confessional, she did state that, Justin has been celibate for, almost 2 years. So, things need to build up. There needs to be some more practice. And at the same time, she also said, well, there's reasons why I'm staying. I'm curious if the way she is trying to survive, like this experience of being married to someone that she really doesn't want to be married to, that she's leaning towards that intellect and she's being like this sage for everyone. A part of that role is her really leaning into this relationship and trying to give her best, her best foot forward, right? But she did state that, she will stay in a relationship if the physical intimacy isn't the best, if there are other reasons why she wants to stay. I'm really curious about why she wants to stay. What are those reasons? She said that she's willing to stay for other reasons. What are those reasons? I want to know. Next, we have Kristen and Mitch. So they are hashing things out on their way to the retreat. And Krysten, there seems to be a part of Krysten that feels guilty for hurting Mitch's feelings, right? And so it apologizes for that. And understandably so. There can be a space where you can say, I apologize for how I said what I said. And at the same time, I still meant what I said when it came to me being really frustrated with you not wanting to really affirm me and you really focusing on changing me. And this is just a reflection of Mitch's relationship with himself. He doesn't really accept all of him, and he is very self-deprecating. I think that presentation, which was absolutely hilarious, for Krysten to put on when she mimicked Mitch, that was true Mitch fashion, because that's self-deprecating. Like, look at how ridiculous I am. Like, there's a part of him that's very, very critical, and that critical part shows up in his relationship with Krysten, and she feels that she wants affirmation. I want you to tell me the things that you like about me. And Mitch struggles. I think that there is a level of physical attraction there between Mitch and Krysten. And at the same time, there's this part of him that's like, I'm not going to give you what you want. This rebel part, right? I'm not going to tell you that I think you're beautiful inside and out because that's what you want me to say. I'm curious for him what he fears will happen if he does something that someone wants. If he believes it, if it's really true and real to him, then what is the problem? Mitch, what is the problem? If you believe that Krysten is beautiful inside and out, and it's what she wants, how does that harm you? That would be my question to Mitch. Mitch did try to get some brownie points by saying that, hey, I know that this prom is for Lindy, and at the same time, you're my prom queen. Very, very sweet, very cute. And at the same time, Mitch, he's finding like his own way to affirm her, and I get that. But here's the rub. There are parts of us that have been longing to hear certain words. And it seems like Krysten has been longing for affirmation. She had some parents that were very hypercritical of herself. And so there's a part of her that's like, hey, affirm me, affirm me, affirm me. And, her husband is activating that part that is looking for that affirmation and is seeking that affirmation. There's this part of her that settles for what Mitch offers her, with saying you're a great person, you're an awesome person, you're a wonderful wife, which are great affirmations. It's just not coming from the energy and the space that Krysten's looking for, truly. And she's feeling the need to apologize for things that she's saying that she means. Now, I did say last week, and I stand by that how that happened last week was not okay. It was not okay. It was embarrassing for both of them. I felt bad for both of them. The part of Krysten that wanted the affirmation, that needs the affirmation, and the part of Mitch that's like, I have been embarrassed pretty much my whole life. This has been my life story. And now my words, I'm being caught off guard, and my words are being used against me in a way. And yes, I did say those things, but not in how, so he's just like, he's fumbling, he's frantic. And so both of them were caught in the crossfires in that situation. True. Absolutely true. Here's the thing. Krysten's apologizing. And I also want Mitch to maybe take some more ownership for how he's showing up, because Mitch is stating, I'm not trying to change you. I don't want to come off as that husband that's trying to edit you. And I'm like, but Mitch, let's really take a look at how we have been moving the last 7 weeks and see, because Krysten has to edit herself. She does. That's a part of why she stated in that video footage, I'm going crazy. It's overwhelming. She's editing herself so much. And maybe because this truly happens, Mitch is really blind to the fact that that's happening for her. But Mitch truly does. He needs to take more accountability for Krysten's experience of him. He does. Because she has not really truly been free to be herself. And we see that at this prom, Krysten is taking the reins of being herself. Like, there's a part of her that's saying, I am tired of being this edited version of me. I am letting loose. And so they have these votes of most likely to do X, Y, and Z. Mitch was voted most likely to save the planet, of course, and class clown, as to say that he makes everybody cringe. Okay, which he accepted. You see, the self-deprecation, he accepts that. Now, where I think maybe things maybe went a little too far is that Krysten even voted for herself that she is most likely to have multiple divorces because of her past engagement and because she's married to Mitch. These were her words. And Mitch is like, what? Wait, my wife voted for this? What does that mean? And he's like, you voted? She said, oh yes, I absolutely did. She said something to the degree of like, I would judge myself if I didn't vote for me in this area. And I'm like, oh no. Okay. It's like Krysten indirectly telling Mitch, I still meant what I said when I said I was done. Like, a part of me is done. And she said this in the kitchen with the girls. She said the wife part of me, which I'm really curious about what she means a wife is, right? What does being a supportive wife mean for Krysten? What does that look like? What beliefs does she have about being a supportive wife? Because the wife part of me says yes, but Mimi says no. Well, let's talk to this wife part and see what it has to say. What is it? What are its reasons for staying? What does it believe will happen that hasn't happened already? So they do go on this archery date, and they both decided, or Krysten decided, that they would put subjects on the bullseye that they don't want to discuss or bring up anymore, that they've hashed out and they don't want to rehash anymore. For Krysten, she brought up the area of attraction. And for Mitch, he brought up Poolgate. And so both of them killed both of those topics and said there will be no more rehashing. Now, Krysten did say, hey, I just want you to know, yes, I agree. We need to kill Poolgate, but I am happy that Poolgate happened. I'm not happy how it went, but I'm happy that it happened. There's like a part of her that got some clarity there. She got some clarity about what she feels and what he feels about her. And so she's glad that that happened. She also stated that helped them to have a great weekend. There's some times where Krysten will use language like, oh, this is a perfect marriage. This is a great weekend. What is this part getting this information from? Because their relationship hasn't been perfect. And even this weekend wasn't really perfect. She really indirectly told Mitch that she's leaning towards a divorce in front of everyone. A part of her knows what's going on within her, right? And then there's this part of her that will dismiss things or minimize things. So I'm curious if that's the supportive wife part, if that's what she feels, like supportive wives are supposed to do, dismiss things, minimize things, turn their blinders up. You can be supportive and still state what you need from your partner. You can be supportive and still say your experience of your partner. You can be supportive and still hold them accountable. That's all. Those both can happen. Those both live in the reality. Live in the reality, not in the fantasy world, but live in reality. Because we do have parts. We do have parts of us that kind of go to these fantasy-like places because what the reality is so painful, right? And that may be also what's happening for Alexis. Who knows? But that, this is what I'm seeing with Krysten. And Mitch is in a space where he's like, do I say something to her about this or not? Now, because of Poolgate, I don't know what to bring up and what not to bring up. Like, are you going to divorce me or not? Which one is it? But we know this is definitely going to come up. Definitely going to come up closer to decision day, as Mitch has this big question, right? Rightfully so. You said you were most likely to get multiple divorces. You're married to me. Krysten also stated that she is in a place where she doesn't really know bringing back physical intimacy is something that she wants to do because they are, she has all these reservations. She has this inner conflict right within herself. Supportive wife, me, what I really feel. Okay. And so she needs to listen to both of those parts. She does, to hear what they need to tell her about their experiences of Mitch to decide, do I really want to re-engage into the physical intimacy department, especially so close to decision day, and especially since so much of me wants to say no. Next, we have Lindy and Miguel. Oh boy. Oh boy. So here we go. Miguel thought it was a cool idea to recreate a prom for Lindy. So he bought her this beautiful, beautiful dress and told her that, hey, we're going to do this for you. And so she's excited. She's appreciative of Miguel's hard work. And she's like, oh, this is the best. And then things escalate pretty quickly, from selfie pictures to don't ever use that tone with me ever again. What I believe is happening, what I truly believe is happening, is this caretaker part and this super accommodating part of Miguel is tired. He's having his Krysten moment in this episode. He is tired of accommodating to everything that Lindy wants and needs. And it seems like that there are a lot of needs that she has, and she's delegating them all to Miguel. So that's where that language of I'm not your personal photographer is coming up. That's where that's coming from, right? And she's thinking, like, confused. Wait a second. This is about a picture? I don't understand. And so she's like, okay, right, there's this part of her that is like, I don't know what's true and what's not true now, because there has been a part of him that has been quiet about some of these things. He's been feeding her regularly. He's been taking care of the baby. He's been working through this process. I don't know if Lindy is still, working. I know she's got her like more part-time flexible hours. And so he is tired. He did make a request. He made a request of her to say, hey, it's been a long work week. Can you give me a moment to just decompress? Because we're about to go downstairs. We're about to have this big old party and big prom thing that I've done for you. And I need a moment. And she was playing. She had this like whiny tone, like, come on, babe, come on, and he took that as frustration. Right? There's a part of him that took that as frustration. There's a part of him that is wanting to meet her needs, right? That's wanting to do everything that she's asking him to do. And he wants that same in return. That's where this agitation's coming from. That's where Miguel has this like, irritable, nitpicky, what seeming to be like a nitpicky thing, is he's saying what's underneath that is, what are your thoughts and considerations for me? Where are your thoughts and considerations for me? Because I am bending over for you. Now, he's also making that Lindy's responsibility. Some of this is Miguel's responsibility to say no. To say, hey, Lindy, I don't know if you remember, I asked for just a moment, and I'm not in the space to take selfies right now. Can you truly give me a moment, because I want to be my best self for you, right? And I know in order to do that, I just need a break. To redirect, to remind. Lindy needs a lot of reassurance, right? She needs a lot of reassurance. There's this part of her that's very anxious and very unsettled, right? Even in conflict, she needs the reassurance. And Miguel, he kind of pulls back a little bit to get some clarity, to think through things. And if he isn't feeling it emotionally, then he pulls back. Okay? There's a part of him that creates that distance. He's like, I'm not feeling close to you. I need to pull back. That part that's looking for reassurance from in Lindy, it panics. It views that as rejection. So I'll say this. One thing that is similar. One thing, just one. I'm not saying all of them are similar. You hear me? Do you hear me? One thing, one part that's similar between Lindsay from last season and Lindy from this season is they both have a part of them that feels like critique means rejection. Critique means rejection. And paired with Miguel pulling back, rejecting the hug, rejecting touch, that again feels like rejection. Her getting critique about her explosions or episodes, that is that is viewed as you don't accept me. You rejecting me. You don't accept me, right? Either you accept all of me or none of me, right? That is how Lindy is taking this situation in. Now, Miguel there's parts of him that are playing a role in this as well because of his mindset about commitment, that he's still, making some decisions about, am I going to really be okay with this? Now, he did say, I'm in love with Lindy. I want to make this work. I'm just really frustrated. I don't know how to make this work. What he has to realize is it's not that he's tired, and because he's tired and agitated that he's turning into this like jerk, right? No, there's this accommodating part that is taking over. And I'm curious what he fears will happen if he doesn't meet her needs all the time. Even in conflict, he's consoling her. He's consoling her when she becomes tearful and taking responsibility for that. Now, if he's taking ownership for hurting her feelings, got it. And at the same time, there needs to be a communication very similar very similar to Kristen and Mitch. You can take responsibility for, oh my goodness, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings with what I said. I want you to know that, me being super accommodating to you and me just asking for a moment and then you still asking much for me, that's a lot. And I feel like I need you to be just a little bit more attentive to what I need from you. Now they are trying to work this out. They're trying to work this out. They're trying to be on the mend. They're on this horseback ride, and Miguel is reciting poetry and raps about their relationship, about himself, and Lindy's attention is being pulled. It's being pulled in multiple directions. This is just adding more fuel to the fire, right? So he's already in a place of feeling like she isn't showing up for me. That she's not showing up for me. And now she's interrupting him. He's sharing something that's kind of intimate. It really is. Like, he's taking the time to write out something about their relationship and about her. And she's like, oh, look at that squirrel. Look at that horse. Oh, my goodness, the selfies. And he becomes agitated again. And Lindy takes this as, I am bad. I'm not there's a place where she goes to like an extreme, or part of her that goes to extreme, as she feels like that's what Miguel wants. Like, I'm just going to beat up on myself. I'm a horrible wife. I suck at this marriage. And he's like, no, that's not it. I just want you to hear me. I just want you to attend to me. I don't want to fight for your attention. And I want you to listen to my requests. So the reason why Lindy is not able to pick up what Miguel is trying to communicate with her is because he's doing it in a way that is aggressive. There's a part of him that either feels like he has to be overly accommodating. There's this overly accommodating part, or there's like this kind of very firm, very aggressive and analytical, even distant part, right? And that is how he's communicating to her. He's not coming from a place of saying, I need you to attend to me. I feel like I have really overextended myself in the area of accommodating for you, and I'm realizing that now, and that's where this is coming from. I don't want to come off as rude or crash or hurt your feelings. I just realizing that I'm feeling a little ignored. I'm feeling like what I'm asking for doesn't matter to you. That is what he needs to communicate. And so the reason why he creates that distance or pulls back and, truly, in fact, rejects her. So it further triggers or activates that wound of hers that is preparing for rejection, because that part of him that is overly accommodating feels like that's all it can do, right? That's the only way that it can engage with her, and it fears not meeting her needs. So instead of just saying, hey, I can't do this, it's really why it's really challenging for individuals to say no in relationships, especially if they have had to take care of their parent or feel like they're going to be abandoned or rejected. then they will have a hard, difficult time saying no in their relationships and finding a middle in their relationships. And so they'll struggle, and they will either accommodate or they'll create distance. And so that's going to put Lindy in a situation where she doesn't know which way is up. Like, help me understand what's going on, Miguel, because I just said, I just asked for you to take a picture. I'm sorry. My attention got distracted, and that's not what he's saying. He's saying, I need you to pay attention to me and show me that I matter to you. And he needs to find that voice. And so I'm curious, if he has had to be overly accommodating for his mom. I know that she had some mental health challenges. And if that's the case, then that's where this part is showing up. That's truly where this part is showing up. And then how he has managed to protect himself from being hurt in relationships, that he has this very analytical part. This part that's like, oh, I see that you don't care about me. Well, that's it. I'm creating distance. I'm going to cut it off. Oftentimes, our parts show up in extremes. We're either all in or nothing at all. And there can be a middle. That's why I end my videos with be cool, be calm, be centered, because oftentimes the way we protect ourselves comes from a place of extremes. And there's a place where Miguel can find his middle with Lindy. He can. He just has to trust himself in order to do it. And then we have the dodgeball game. Okay. Miguel in his confessional said, I don't really feel up to this. I am spent. I am far spent. I don't have anything left. I feel, just my observation, that it was okay for Miguel to say, hey, I'm going to sit out. I'm going to sit on the sidelines and just cheer for you guys. And I'll sit out on this game. There's a part of him that wants to keep pushing himself to really dishonor himself, right? To dishonor the part of him that's like, I'm spent. No, I'm going to keep pushing. As much as Miguel wants Lindy to listen to him, he also needs to listen to him. He also needs to hear him when he's saying, I'm tired. I don't have anything else to give this weekend. I'm going to chill, or I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to have a moment. I'm not going to play dodgeball. He still plays dodgeball, and he takes the loss personally and feels like, again, Lindsay's not on my side. She's not showing up for me. This is the theme of the weekend. This is the theme of you're not showing up for me. You didn't show up for me when I asked you for a break. You're not showing up for me when I'm reciting poetry to you on the horseback riding. You're not showing up for me when we're playing dodgeball on separate teams, right? And you aren't even cheering up for me or encouraging me or giving me any words of affirmation. You're not feeding me. That is what is being communicated by the irritation. And Lindy is not understanding it. She's coming from like a surface level place of, oh, okay, so you don't want me. You do. Okay. Pictures. No. Okay. No, I have to put blinders up when it comes to me hearing you. Okay. So you want me to say it like this? Like, no, Lindy, there's a message under there. Of he just wants you to show up for him. I'm curious if there's more. I'm curious if there's more. I'm curious if, hey, the fact that you weren't really attentive to the baby and I was the one who was taking the lead, like that's a lot. The fact that I have to do the most cooking and I'm doing the most working, that's a lot, right? I'm curious if that's also what's not being communicated. But we shall see. We shall see as we get closer to decision day. There wasn't much interactions, because they were at the group retreat between a lot of the couples. But of course, we know as we get closer to decision day, things will continue to come up because they're at a place where stakes are high. And so their protectors are going to be up. They're going to be some things that need to be addressed before decision day gets here. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts between Miguel and Lindy. What do you think about prom gate, about horseback gate or dodgeball gate, as now we put gate on everything? Let me know your thoughts about that. Let me know your thoughts about Justin and Alexis consummating their marriage, even though we know there's this huge part of Alexis that doesn't want to be in this relationship. What do you think? What do you think about the fact that Krysten is feeling the need to apologize often instead of standing her feet firm about how she's really feeling about this relationship, and about Mitch not really taking ownership of his stuff? What do you feel? What do you feel about Stacia and Nate? Are they in a great place? Are they truly in a great place? Will Stacia be okay if Nate doesn't say the L word? If he doesn't say, I love you, will she be okay on decision day? Let me know your thoughts. If you are still here watching, then of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, be cool, be calm, be centered.